Let's be honest, if you're in research, you've probably felt buried under a mountain of papers and admin work. It can be a real grind. But what if you could flip that script? What if you could turn that whole laborious process into a dynamic, super efficient workflow? Well, today, we're going to break down a strategic blueprint for doing exactly that, all by using the power of AI.
So here's the game plan. First, we'll dig into the big problem that researchers are up against right now. Then, we're going to build out our AI toolkit and walk through a super practical 11-step workflow. After that, we'll see the massive payoff, and we'll wrap up with something that's absolutely crucial: the principles for doing all of this with integrity.
All right, so what's the core challenge? Well, the source material calls it a dual burden, and that really hits the nail on the head. On one hand, you have an absolute tsunami of information to sort through, and on the other, there's this ever-growing pile of administrative stuff. Put them together, and it's no wonder the actual pace of discovery can get bogged down.
Think about it. The old way of doing research has always been very linear, right? You find sources, you read, you synthesize, you write. It's methodical, but man, is it slow. We're now shifting into a whole new paradigm. By bringing AI into the mix, the whole process becomes dynamic, interactive, and just radically more efficient. It's less of a solo slog and more of a partnership between you and your tools.
Now, what's really cool about this approach is that it's not about finding one magical AI tool that does everything. No, the real power comes from building your own custom suite of specialized tools. Think of it like assembling a dream team of AIs, where each one is a superstar at its specific job.
So let's meet the team. For finding papers, you've got Elicit, which is great for finding conceptually related work, and ChatGPT to help you brainstorm the perfect search terms. For organization, Zotero is the absolute bedrock of this whole system, your central reference library. Then for the heavy lifting, the analysis, you've got NotebookLM. This is your workbench, where you can upload all those sources and really dig in. And finally, when it's time to write, ChatGPT helps you structure the document, and Grammarly makes sure your writing is sharp and professional. Every tool has a purpose, and together, they're an incredible ecosystem.
Okay, so you've got the tools, but how do they all plug into each other? That's where this blueprint comes in. It's a repeatable 11-step workflow that guides you all the way from a blank slate to a polished final draft, and it's designed to remove the friction at every single step.
The first half of the workflow is all about conquering that information chaos. You start with a broad search, but here's the key. You immediately save everything that looks interesting to Zotero. It's a simple habit that means you'll never lose a source again. From there, you use ChatGPT and Elicit to smartly narrow down that search to the papers that really matter. Once you've got your curated library, you upload the most important articles into NotebookLM. And this is where the magic really starts. It can generate a thematic mind map, giving you a bird's eye view of the whole topic before you've even read a single full paper. It's a game changer.
So now we pivot from organizing to creating. In step 7, you use NotebookLM's Q&A feature to literally interview your sources. You can ask it for specific quotes, facts, or arguments, and it pulls them right out for you. Then you can ask ChatGPT to generate a structural template for your draft in an editor like Overleaf. As you're writing, you're constantly jumping back to NotebookLM to verify info and using Grammarly to polish your sentences. Zotero plugs right into your editor, making citations completely effortless. And finally, you generate your submission-ready PDF. It's just a clean, powerful, end-to-end system. Okay, we've gone through the how, but let's talk about the why. Why go through all this? Well, this workflow isn't just about moving faster. It's about reallocating your single most valuable asset as a researcher, your cognitive capital, your brain power.
And this just lays it out perfectly. First, by automating all that tedious reference management and formatting, you absolutely slash your administrative overhead. Second, by using tools like NotebookLM to map out themes, you dramatically accelerate the synthesis phase, that part where you connect all the dots. And the result of those two things? You get to maximize your mental energy for the work that actually matters: deep analysis, building new arguments, and finding those groundbreaking insights.
I mean, just look at this contrast. In a typical workflow, you might spend a whopping 60% of your time on admin and logistical stuff, leaving just 40% for actual deep thinking. With this AI-assisted workflow, you can literally flip that ratio on its head. Imagine spending as little as 20% of your time on admin, freeing up a massive 80% for high-impact insight. That isn't just a small improvement, that's a complete transformation of how research gets done.
Now, a change this big, this powerful, doesn't just come with benefits. It comes with new responsibilities. Using these tools effectively means you have to be absolutely committed to ethics. You can think of this next part as the essential rules of the road for navigating this new AI landscape with total academic integrity.
The framework itself is pretty straightforward, but it's completely non-negotiable. You have to respect copyright and licensing. You must ensure rigorous attribution for every single idea. That's where a tool like Zotero becomes your best friend. Use AI-generated text as a brainstorming partner, never as a final product. Be transparent in your methods about how you use these tools, and of course, always protect any sensitive data you're working with.
And if there's one thing to take away, it's this. AI tools are amazing research assistants. They can organize, summarize, and find information in ways we couldn't before, but they are not authors. You, the researcher, are the thinker. You are the final authority, and you are the one responsible for the originality and integrity of your work, period.
So, at the end of the day, this isn't about AI replacing human researchers. Not at all. It's about augmenting our own intellect. The future of research is this incredible partnership, this collaborative intelligence, where technology frees us up from the grunt work to focus on our greatest strengths, the creativity and critical thinking that truly push knowledge forward.
This new way of working doesn't just speed things up, it deepens our capacity for analysis and insight. It really just leaves one final question for you. With these kinds of tools at your fingertips, what will you discover first?